Can a movie be dangerous? Seriously, I remember when I was younger and there were those parents who were panicking because of witchcraft in Harry Potter, would bring their children into the darkness or something because they have cookies and jumping chocolate frogs. And I thought it was ridiculous, to be honest. I thought it was so funny. But, I've been humbled this year and I've been revisiting my prior assumptions and thoughts. And one of them is that, you know what? Maybe a movie can be dangerous. Wait, does that mean I believe some movies should be restricted? 100% not, because as long as we have a choice, that's perfectly fine. But honestly speaking, if you take a child without critical thinking to watch Snow White, if it wasn't such a big flop and it wasn't so obviously rejected by the audiences, like someone somewhere in those big studios thought that this movie was okay to make and to approve. So there is a reality where people would have agreed that those ideas are somewhat good. And to be honest, we've been dealing with them in different formats for years now.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
I'm so white right now. I'm so pale. My foundation is too dark for me. I literally could be Snow White and I'm not happy about it. I really need to get some sun, but luckily it is almost April, so the sun is coming back and I really need to stop giving myself excuses for not meeting it just a little bit to not be that pale, because as far as I'm concerned, being the fairest of them all was never my life goal. All right, let's talk about the movie. Here are a few things that I've heard appear in the movie. Do you think I went watching it because I love you so much that I would suffer through it for you all? Hell no. It was enough to listen what others had written about it, to be honest, and it's probably way worse than what I'm gonna describe. But basically, let's start with the fundamental value that is presented, which is sharing is caring, aka communism, where you know that the rules are good because they distribute apple pies to the public.
My parents and we'd pick apples. We'd take them and make pies, then go out into the village.
Pies.
Also, can you imagine having such a small community to rule over, yet such a big castle, which I'm guessing there is a big castle there?
This was my father's kingdom. A place of fairness.
Listen, it has to be a small community, otherwise how would you be able to distribute so many apple pies? So it's either that's all they do, or they only distribute apple pies to the upper echelon of their population, and then the rest are like being neglected. And even that would take so much time that would leave them zero time for actually managing the country and doing the boring stuff. The reason why a lot of citizens are not happy with you is because they cannot see you grinding in your office on boring documents that they cannot read or understand because they don't have the knowledge to handle it. Which brings me to another point where, okay, so this girl, Rachel Zegler or Snow White, is destined to rule, and yet I don't think she had gotten the proper education for it, to be honest. The reason we monarchs had somewhat of a right or like an advantage growing up is because they were trained, hopefully, to rule and to manage affairs of a country since baby age, because they were born to it, right? So that is being born into monarchy. Yet this girl, I don't think she got the education she needed to rule a country at all. She doesn't have the skills. She wasn't born for it because she didn't get the training she needed, or it was cut short. I have a feeling, just a gut feeling, that your training as a future ruler is not supposed to end when you are like, I don't know, a child or a teen or even a 20-year-old. Weird, weird, weird. So sharing is caring, and then no training. And then entitlement. And even though she got zero appropriate training to be a ruler, for some reason she's just inherently so great and amazing that she can rule a country without ever doing paperwork. And when she gets an opportunity to run a household, she is a clear tyrant. When she makes all the dwarves work for her, even though she broke into their house and basically declared it as her mansion and made them work. So she clearly had a bad example at home with the evil queen about how you rule and run a castle. But if this is how she runs a castle, aka the dwarves, just being a complete tyrant and then setting up rules but not following up properly, aka letting a dwarf dance on a table while he's wearing shoes, and at the same time claiming that you are creating a clean sanitary environment. Yeah, no. That is just good old entitlement with zero skill to show for it. Fourth, fairness. Fairness being who is the best person, who is the most just person. And between the Queen and Snow White, who are both tyrannical and abusive, they both had managed to somehow get the title of fairest. First the Queen, and then Snow White inherited that title. They were fair and just, and therefore deserved it. What are the rest of the? What is the rest of the population like? If they are the fairest, what is the average person like? I want to say I'm afraid to know, but considering the fact that the love interest is actually a bandit, well, at least I guess the Queen gets her money in a legal way, right? She is the legal system, so she gets it through taxation, versus the bandit who steals. Yeah, I don't know. And then they have this wink-wink kind of statement saying, because of their situation and because of how, unjust the ruling system is, they have the right to steal. And I would say, why just stop there? They probably also have the right to kill and to vandalize and bring down Tesla dealerships and burn privately owned Tesla cars if they're at it. Because why not? That brings me to the fifth point. So 1, sharing is caring, a stupid idea, that's communism. 2, no training, stupid idea. 3, entitlement, amazing value. 4th, fairness and justness, which are not fair and not just. And then 5, no prince. Her love interest is a bandit, who is also way older than her, which in that world would make me think, where did he abandon his wives and kids? I don't know, at least one wife and kid. I also heard there is a part where he said he used to be not loyal, which makes me think that there are kids that were abandoned somewhere in a forest or, dealt with by their mother after being abandoned by their father because she couldn't afford them with a situationship going on. Yeah, just a guess. Anyway, no prince. And she is a princess. And that is not how the world works, Men don't like being with somebody who is perceived as more important than them, unfortunately. Believe me, men want to feel like they are the better ones in a relationship. And the only way for a man like that, who is a bandit, to feel better than a princess is by, obviously, belittling her and bringing her down, which Wow, he actually does that in the movie. So I guess this part is 100% real. And I just cannot wait for the part after they marry and he leaves her because he feels unfulfilled or something. And remembers that he actually left a different set of wife and kids somewhere around the world where he was like, maybe I should go back to them. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with this palace life. Used to be able to steal stuff. Now it's part of the legal system. Probably not going to feel comfortable with it and just leave at some point, honestly speaking. All right, so not Prince. 6 is transactionism, or of kind of like the diminishing of a woman's role. So there is a part there where he saves her, but she saves him first, right? So Snow White saves the bandit that she loves before he saves her. And it's fair. Now they're equal because she saved him, he saved her. Transactional. I love transactional relationships. So healthy. Well, women and men are different. How about that? How about men need to prove themselves to be stable and protective because women put themselves and their bodies at risk and make themselves weaker on purpose to bring about a family. And you cannot trust a man that would not be there if you are weak. So being stupidly strong is stupid if you're trying to plan long term to those moments that you will be weaker unless you don't want to give birth. And this is what is happening now in the world today, because giving birth is a time of weakness. And it looks like the world had forgotten that this by itself has more merit than almost anything a person could do. But it doesn't look like people understand it anymore. So you have to fight and be on the same playing ground as men, even though you still have to ideally do the job of a woman. So this transactionalism, first of all, she's a princess. She's supposed to be educated. She's clearly not. So just for that, at least prove you have something to offer. Why do we need this? Oh, she saved him and then he saved her. Man, if he wouldn't save her, then what's his worth? What is he good for? At least if he saved her, that would have been like, you know what, I might be a bandit, but I saved your life. So that would have been giving him enough ego boost for him to actually stay with her and be loyal. Yeah, no love, just transactionalism. That's what we have now. Whatever, it might have been true love, it's just unbelievable. And obviously, there is no merit. That's the 7th part. Like, who needs to have any sort of merit, right? So the queen got to her position without love bombing her guards. Unbelievable, okay? Everybody knows that a tyrant knows how to make people feel special so that they would do their bidding. It's basic 101 love bombing, how to be a tyrant strategy. All right, I should mention that Snow White saved the kingdom by remembering the names of the guards because apparently they had forgotten them. So once she told them, hey, you're Paul, you're William, they were like, oh yeah, we are humans now. We're free. Dopey's free. I mean, Snow White got it right. And then no merit, because not only did the queen had her position without any reasonable excuse, she had magic powers. So she could have ruled by using that. And yet, when the time was pressuring her to actually take a stand and protect herself, she chose to not use her magic to take back the kingdom. So how did she even become a ruler? Nobody had merit, any kind of merit. How do I say it? Striking awe and fear at the hearts of people. That also takes merit. But nobody needed to have any kind of merit in that film, so whatever. 8. The inability to actually make a judgment, right? So I realize from what I've been hearing that there is a scene in the end that the queen is actually given an opportunity to Snow White to show that she's worth something. She gave her a dagger and said, okay, you want to be the ruler? Kill me. At that point, at least arrest her, if not kill her. Because there is nothing of merit or worth praising if you cannot finish the job. Believe me, Sinwao taught us very well that if you get a chance to get rid of a tyrant, get rid of them. That is the moral thing to do. This is why the dwarves originally, if I'm not mistaken, did chase and brought about the death of the queen. Yeah, killing is necessary sometimes, and it is the moral thing to do. So she's supposed to be fearless, but guess what? You know what requires a lot of courage? Killing, unfortunately, is necessary. I wish Sinwao was killed instead of cured. Personal pet peeve. That brings us to number 9. There is no logic. There is no logic, no consistency. Nothing makes sense. Logic thrown out the window. The rules change. The film progresses, and when fairness needs to be beauty, it's beauty. When it's justice. And words change meaning, and there is no consistency, and the most powerful people are suddenly super weak. You run away with nothing on you, but for some reason you have another set of clothes on you at the same time. There is no logic. Nothing makes sense. Absolutely nothing makes sense. 10. The 10th stupid value that was pushed down our throats is... Wait, what was it? Words versus actions. See, there are no actions, but there are many words. Snow White is fair and good because you've been told so, not because you see her work hard and actually studying how to round numbers and doing accounting job and stuff like that. No, you see, like picking cherries from a tree and distributing apple pies, that's kind of fun and requires zero mental effort, really, because like people like doing these things. I love going cherry picking. It's fun, especially when it's like there is no pressure. You just do it for fun, just to join, and your livelihood is not dependent upon it. Then there isn't even the pressure when you go cherry picking. So it's fun. I love it. You also get to eat cherries. It's fun. She knows nothing about the kingdom, and then she knows everything. So ridiculous. There's so many words. She's brave, and she was born to be a leader. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. But are there any actions that prove anything at any point? Absolutely not. Just believe what we say. Why do you believe what you're saying? Don't you trust me? Trust me. Believe what I say, not reality. Like, why? And that brings us to... Did I say 10? Right.
And last but not least is Dopey. He's nice, but sort of silly.
And a bonus point. Okay, so there is this character called Dopey that originally was made fun of because he was dumb. And during this movie, he had a personal development arc where she taught him how to whistle so he could communicate. Like, he couldn't speak, he was mute, but he learned how to whistle. And then at some point, apparently, he wasn't really mute. He was just so terrified of speaking, he never spoke up, which I thought, you had an opportunity to present a character that was mute and learn to communicate through whistling. And that makes him First of all, who communicates, and second, it's not okay to belittle and bully a person that has a severe problem like mutism, autism, or whatever Dopey might have had that made him mute. And then you just solve it. And now you lost the kid who was like, oh, yes, I cannot speak, but I still have, the right to be heard and express myself, be it with whistling. But I cannot speak. And now this character learned how to speak. Thank you. This is actually putting impossible standards into people. What if people are mute or dumb? Is it okay to belittle them if they are? Is it okay to bully them if they are? Maybe not. Maybe finding a creative solution on how to communicate with them is an effort that is worth it, because that's the nice and kind thing to do. And guess what? They don't need to start talking, because you just set up this, you just lost the whole arc, if you ask me personally. That's my thoughts. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I really would appreciate if you guys could support me and buy me coffee or join the Patreon. That would mean a lot. This is the only way I can keep my channel going. So if you guys could, please consider sending some support through the links below in the description. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you later.